Listen, we have our youth pastor, Pastor Greg Dennis, here with us, and previously we were just talking to Bishop McDaniels, and he was telling us about COIL. Now, who do we have with us?
We have with us now Todd Duncan and Lamont Jefferson, and these gentlemen actually work with the COIL program. You know, there's a lot going on in our city. Our city is one that has been terrorized, if I could use that word, by gang violence at levels that we haven't seen before. To be truthful, Pastor Lee, we need help. We need help. And so we've got with us some guys who are hitting the ground running to try to make sure that the communities and this faith community gets together and try to help our youth and rescue our youth from this pit of gang violence that's really like a virus in our city.
Now tell us, gentlemen, what exactly is your background as far as qualifications for the jobs that you hold at COIL?
Well, one of the things that they did when bringing the organization together, Ms. Stacy Smith, who is the CEO of COIL, she came to me knowing my background from being a person that was once out in the streets, being incarcerated and going through the process.
Were you a gang member?
Actually, at that time, it wasn't called gangs. What you have to understand is that in society, a lot of times they tag it as gang, and it's not always a gang. It could be a crew, and so guys that hang out together, they associate it with being a gang.
You become a gang.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay.
So when I was coming up, it was considered as a crew. So you had your crew. Some people say set. And what you associated with. And so because Stacy Smith knew me and knew my background through my church, Greater Harvest Baptist Church, she actually pulled me in because each person that worked with this population had to have some experience in being able to relate with that population, as well as to know about the process of bringing someone from a place of no hope to hope and providing resources. And so through my process and her knowing me and understanding how I came from where I was to be who I am today, she pulled me in to be an outreach worker and then also became the outreach supervisor. Mr. Duncan here is the outreach team leader who, when I'm not there, he's responsible for carrying on working with the population as well as the other outreach workers.
Okay, Brother Duncan.
Yes, sir.
What's your background?
Well, formerly incarcerated, formerly a gang member.
Okay.
So when she brought me on, I met an associate of mine that was working the same type of job or whatever. So she brought me on for the insight and the reputation that I used to have with the community and still have with the community, and to get in contact with the at-youth risk that might be into street activities at the higher level.
How effective have you been?
Well, I've been working for COIL for 2.5 years. I have 17 caseloads, 15 of them high-risk clients. So the program does work because a lot of them.
The program is it's an ongoing. Your caseload is ongoing. You don't just have them for a minute and they go.
No, because it's easy for me to help you now, and a month later you slip back up doing the same things. Because, like he said, you know, the streets is terrible, and the gangs is out there and it's just targeting the youth because they don't have nobody recruiting, but they really don't have nobody to be that big brother that they really need. It's different if somebody go to them and talk about don't do this and don't do that, you shouldn't be in the gang, but it wouldn't work because you were never a part of the gang. I was a part of a gang, so I know how they go at these young guys.
So you know how to counter their message with a message of hope.
Right.
All right. Now, if you were to give us a success story in, say, about 30 seconds, someone that epitomizes what the program is about and what it can do, can you think of one?
Sure. There's one guy that I work with because I also work with the actual participants in the program. And he was a guy just last year, he was involved in the gang, Bloods gang. And I talked to him, we brought him in, he said that he wanted to try to, get a job, because what we do, we provide them with education and resources. Right now, he's actually been at McDonald's for 10 months. He got his first apartment, as well as he has been promoted as the crew leader of his shift in McDonald's. And he's, at this point, he's just looking forward to just going forward. And he's always just thanking me for just continually inspiring me, because there was so many times that he just said, man, forget it, I don't want no more parts of the program. I'm just going to have to do what I got to do to get to where I got to get to. And I just kept pushing him. And like Mr. Duncan said, that support is so critical with working with these guys, and you have to be persistent and consistent with letting them know that you're there for them, because that's what they look for.
Now, I can hear somebody who's watching this morning saying, that sounds like a great resource for my cousin Nene or my Jojo or whoever, someone in my family that right now is caught up in the conundrum of the streets, and I need to get him or her to them. What would you say to them to help them get across to that loved one the importance of maybe reaching out to this organization?
Well, just come down 11 South Carlton Street, Carlton Avenue, right off of Baltimore Street, or 1200 West Baltimore Street. Ask for Mr. Lamar Jefferson or Mr. Duncan, and tell them that you're coming to bring your kid to be a participant in the COIL outreach program, which we service the population of 14 to 25-year-olds.
Okay.
And like I said, we provide for them anything that they need, whether it be school, because we have the GED program right there at COIL, whether it just be mentoring or resources to connect them with other agencies, strong fathers, strong families. So we do a wraparound services to try to help them. And so it's open for them to come at any time, and we'll work with them. We're here for them to service that population.
Gentlemen, great job. I just want to say great job. Someone once said, you can't teach something you've never learned. And by your own personal experiences, you learned that there is a better way. And now you can teach that better way to those that you get an opportunity to. And I applaud it, and I pray God's blessings upon your efforts. And also, Pastor, you did a good job. These are some exceptional guests. Listen, we have had a wonderful time this morning, and before we go, we're going to drop one more selection on you, and then we'll be right back here on Grace and Glory.